What if I told you the voice inside your head right now was actually trying to wake you up? Think about it. What if all those answers you've been desperately searching for your whole life, in school, at your job, in your relationships, what if they were already sitting quietly right inside of you? It's wild, right? We all grow up being told exactly who to become. Study harder, fit in, follow the rules, and hey, don't ask too many questions. We're basically shoved into an environment that demands total obedience. And honestly, because of that, most people spend their entire lives completely disconnected from who they really are. Now, that might sound simple at first, but it is deeply, profoundly important. Because you're not just some person trying to merely survive life. The source material we're diving into today suggests something way more radical. You are actually a creator who has simply forgotten their own power. Okay, so to really unpack this, today's explainer is grounded in a genuinely fascinating text, Conversations with God for Teens by Neil Donald Walsh. Through a totally unique dialogue format, this source reveals that we are part of a generation standing at a massive crossroads right now. It takes this really deep philosophical look at exactly why the world operates the way it does, and more importantly, how we can completely re-engineer our reality. So the text argues that society basically traps us in this illusion of endless competition, running on what it calls the 3 Ps system. Those are productivity, popularity, and possessions. It's just a desperate, never-ending need for approval. Like, if you get a B, they want an A. If you got 1 A, suddenly they expect 4 of them. Or we chase popularity and end up totally losing our own individuality just to be liked. But if we look at the other side of the coin, we have true success. And this is entirely different. This is about quality, honoring your own unique individuality, and going on a journey of self-discovery. It's about figuring out who you really are, rather than just acquiring what the world tells you to want. Section 1. Reclaiming your original power. The shift that changes everything. Now, what is absolutely fascinating here is the massive paradigm shift this presents. Most people never realize they were literally taught to be weak and fearful by the world. Society loves to tell us that humanity is born broken or born in, original sin. But this text radically reframes that whole concept. It states that you were actually born in original power. You were never born broken. No, you were born with the ultimate, built-in power to create your reality. Power was never this external thing you had to go find. It was just something you abandoned because you were taught to wait around for permission. And that brings us to this incredibly stark truth. Obedience is not creation. Look, simply obeying a broken system, that's an act of subservience, not an act of power. The source makes the case that when you're forced to be subservient, your soul naturally revolts against it because it completely violates who you are at your very core. The absolute second you stop depending on the world to define your worth and you stop waiting for permission, your entire life changes. Section 2. The Tools of Creation. How your reality is shaped. So, the absolutely crucial point here is how this creation process actually works in practice, because your reality is being actively shaped every single second, whether you're paying attention to it or not. Walsh breaks this down into a very specific triad. Step 1, thoughts, which ultimately form your beliefs. Step 2, words, which are literally spoken energy that set things into motion. And Step 3, actions, which result in actual physical creation. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you, using these exact 3 tools. Every single fear you repeat becomes a prison, but every possibility you believe becomes a doorway. Think about it. Everything that has ever been invented or accomplished in human history started as a thought, became a word, and finalized as an action. But, there is a massive trap in this process that we have to talk about, and that is the trap of saying, I want. The author warns us about this really fascinating paradox. If you constantly say you want something, you are actually just creating the ongoing reality of lacking that exact thing, because your words are creative energy. So saying I want a better life literally commands the universe to give you the exact experience of wanting a better life. Instead, the words I am are the actual keys that turn the ignition in the engine of creation. Section 3. The Illusion of Failure. Rethinking Our Mistakes. This perspective completely flips how we look at messing up. What if what we call failure doesn't even actually exist? The text boldly states that mistake is just another word for failure, and failure does not exist. It's an illusion. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every rejection you've ever faced was secretly shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. In reality,
You literally cannot fail. You can only take steps forward along the path of your own personal evolution.
To really grasp this, we have to look at the huge difference between pain and suffering. Now, pain is inevitable, right? It's a natural tool for growth, and it's very often the doorway to actual transformation. The world around us teaches punishment, sure, but real growth, that comes from awareness. Suffering, on the other hand, is completely optional. It's an illusion that we actively choose when we just stubbornly refuse to change our beliefs about the pain we're going through. The amazing thing is, when you actually use your pain as a tool to shape your experience, the suffering just vanishes.
Section 4. The Blueprint for Change. The Oneness Paradox. Let's see how all of this builds into actual real-world impact. See, we live trapped inside this illusion that we're totally separate from everyone else. But if you look closer, we are entirely connected. Every single act of hatred damages the exact world you live in, but every act of kindness heals a part of it. So to actually fix the root problems of our society, to finally escape this trap of short-term gratification and endless comparison, the source lays out a really explicit blueprint. First, we have to change our beliefs. Why? Because beliefs create behaviors. So by changing our beliefs, we automatically change our behaviors. And finally, changing our behaviors is what will actually change our global conditions. Which brings us to the ultimate verdict here. Most people will wait their entire lives for someone else to swoop in and save them. They're constantly waiting for a leader, a partner, or just some random stroke of luck. But listen, you are the answer you've been waiting for. You are not powerless, you are not lost, and you are definitely not here by accident. That real conversation you've been searching for, it was never happening somewhere way up in the sky or outside of you. It has been happening right inside you this whole time. Wake up. Remember who you are. The future isn't going to be changed by people who just blindly follow the crowd. It's going to be changed by the people who are brave enough to think differently and reclaim their original power. So at the end of the day, the only question left to ask yourself is, are you finally ready to listen?